evil.
It's been 27 years since Resident Evil first released on the PS1, and it's been a long time since I first played it myself. I think the last time I touched this game was when I had a PS3, which the version on that system included, this. So, fast forward to present time, and I've been itching to play some Resident Evil. With anticipation for the RE4 remake, I had one question. How well does this 27-year-old game hold up? Well, here's a few things to keep note of though. Me personally, I love horror games, so some things people might be bothered with are things I either enjoy or look forward to. Second, I'm emulating the original Resident Evil off of DuckStation with a legit ISO from my copy since I don't own a PlayStation anymore, since my dad took it with him when he said he was going to the store and I'm an adult now. Dad? Let's just discuss the tank in the room.
Where's Chris?
Tank controls aren't the best by any means. It can be a bit awkward moving, but once you find a groove, I found it overall okay. With one big problem later in the game, but we'll get there when we get there. Moving around the mansion was fine, so maybe this next part is just user error. But I had a hard time dodging zombies, and basically any other enemy, except the doggos. I dodged them all day. Also, I'm playing the original version, so there's no auto aim at all, which didn't really change much for me, but I have heard that auto aim makes the game so much easier. One thing that surprised me a lot was how quiet this game can be at times. It's something I wasn't expecting at all. There's a lot of rooms where there's no music and it's basically just empty and sound, aside from your own footsteps. It didn't detract from anything. At first I admit it was a little jarring, but I started to really like the sudden change of music to no music. What can I say? It added something for me. I found myself thinking a lot about the sound of the game, which made me realize the sound design for this game is incredible.
Showtime.
It's just the small things, like the different sounds you make walking on different tiles, whether it's carpet, marble floors, or old creaky wood. Oh, and the soundtrack of this game is just so good. You hear this?
Build up this house first.
It really helps elevate the game, especially since this game is ugly, but I'm not holding that against it. The graphics are a thing of its time, and you know what else is? Throwing you straight into the game and saying good luck. Sure, there's a few cutscenes,
What is this? Hope this is not Chris's blood.
but even the game can get kind of impatient if you take too long.
Lost courage already? It's not like you.
The zombie will come out to you like,
Who
hurry
is
up
it?
and start if you don't head over there and get the iconic scene. After that, you're pretty much free to tackle the mansion however you see fit for the most part. I chose Jill as my first playthrough, going the way I felt was the normal way, grabbing the shotgun, getting this line,
That was too close. You were almost a Jill sandwich.
You're right.
and looking for my main objective. Don't worry, I'm not going to ignore the cheese factor here. It's not good, didn't age too well, but it does have some charm to it.
Ouch!
It feels like a bad late night movie in the best way possible.
Watch out! It's a monster!
I mean, come on, you're gonna tell me you don't love this?
Chris Redfield. Jill Valentine.
I can see how it could turn people off. Just know what you're getting to before you boot it up is all. Spread across the mansion are your basic enemy, zombies. They're your first and most consistent enemy of the game. However, they're basically a cakewalk. I never found them scary or overwhelming. Only time I got nervous was when they got a little too close for comfort and I played risky, thinking I can shoot them before I got bit. That's not to say I didn't get scared. I knew this jump scare was coming, but it still got me. Oh shit. Oh, that still got me. That's not cool. The developers also use the camera angles in a really genius way in some places, hiding enemies around the corner that won't pop up until you hit it. There might be one right here. Good stuff. Fixed camera angles are still so good in my opinion. There were a couple places that did make it kind of nauseating when it would switch, especially towards the end. Overall though, I love them. That's a really cool camera shot. Stumbling onto my first puzzle with the paintings, it was pretty easy. Puzzles in this game are pretty basic. Either move this piece, press this, or put this object into this. So, going the way I went, I ended up back to the front of the mansion, heading to the door over here, which I thought led to a cute little game design moment. At least I think it is. You're pushing the statue off, and once you do, you see a jewel glow. I feel naturally, if it's your first time, you're gonna head down and pick it up. And maybe by that curiosity, you'll go back to the first door introduced, find your dead teammate, grab some loot, and check these doors. Which most of them are locked, except for one. Going in, we'll push a bookcase, grab some musical notes, and because we know how to play piano, we can do this. Unlike someone we know. Which unlocks this room with a familiar looking shield. Trying to take it will lock the door behind us. But if you do an old switcheroo, bingo, you get a key. Just a key? Something that I wasn't expecting to be in the first game was the checking button. You can't use this key anywhere unless you check it and determine which key it is, which I thought was just really cool. So a reminder, check everything. That key doesn't help us though, since we don't have any door to unlock that with yet. So, exploring the mansion a bit more, we'll come across the magnum opus of the series, save rooms. Here, we'll find the item box that holds all our items if we don't need them, and beautiful, beautiful typewriters. The way we save our game files. You can't just save freely though. We have to use ink ribbons to save, which is finite, meaning saving is also a limited source. Everything in this game is limited. Saving, healing, ammo, which brings me to the thought I had while playing this game. Resident Evil is a puzzle game. Now, hear me out. For the first timers of the world, most times you're thinking about what you have in terms of resources and which rooms you can clear. If you get bit, is it okay to heal or save until you're lower? Should you use this gun or maybe save this gun for the upcoming boss or area? The actual shooting of enemies can be a bit by the numbers, but I feel that's not the real gameplay loop here, but more so of a mask. It's more resource management with player input. I think that's where getting skilled at this game becomes so satisfying. That's also to not say shooting can't feel good. Just that figuring out how to navigate to where you need to be and executing it gives you that little rush of dopamine. The boss fights though, that's something for sure. Once you get the armor key, the main objective is to collect 4 of these medals like the one we found earlier. Well, one of them is kind of being protected by a boss fight. His name is Yawn, and he's a pretty big snake, but that's pretty much all it is to him. The fight's pretty simple, and it's kind of interesting because for me, I couldn't dodge, so I just tanked every fight I could and shot. With the snake out of the way, you can get your 4th medal. And some poison.
Am I poisoned? Give me the serum.
After being saved by a real hero,
Barry!
we're able to move on. Just as we got used to the mansion, we're heading outside. And outside, we have doggos. They're pretty easy to dodge for the most part, or if you land a shot on them, you can stun lock them. Sorry. Now this right here is probably the biggest disappointment of the game for me. You approach the stone and it tells you this big old riddle. When the sun sets in the west and the moon rises in the east. And I was thinking the entire time of how I should place them. Do I even have to set these up or they just place them how? Okay. Well, it doesn't matter. The game will just do it for you. Shame. At this point, we're about halfway through, I would say. We're reaching the cabin for a short little stay. Not a whole lot to do here. There's a few notes detailing more story, some more keys, and a boss fight, well, sort of. As Jill, we can bypass this fight by doing a little math problem. Creating VJolt and going down to the basement, applying to the root of the problem. This happens. Now that we defeated this big tree, we have access to the fire pit and our last mansion key, the helmet key. With that, we're heading back to the mansion, only for the second worst enemy in the game. Yo, he just ripped that door open. hunters. Hello. So once you come back from the cabin, every zombie placement will be replaced by a hunter, or multiple in some cases. By far, the most annoying enemy in this game, and it's a pain in the ass. Nasty little man. Even more so if you don't have a good memory of where the doors are that you need to unlock. Okay, armor key should be down this hall somewhere. To be completely honest, I hit a bit of a wall at this point. I was dying over. I'm dead. And over. And over. Until I finally planned out a route. Okay, I think I know the idea, what I wanted to know. Killed them and had enough rooms cleared that it was manageable. Hunters are faster than dogs, and with the added tank controls, it can feel a bit unfair with how they jump after dodging your shots. And remember, for me, no auto aim. With the helmet key, we can finish unlocking the rest of the mansion, grabbing optional items such as the red jewel for the tiger, giving us the magnum, or this room, letting us get the medal for the labs. And finally, one more boss room, our second fight with Yawn. I came with some acid rounds, and this man's is finished. Overall, the boss fights in this game felt pretty meh. Not really interesting fight mechanics outside of being poisoned. Barry comes. We drop down.
I'll go and get another rope.
Wait for him to come back. And now we have the code for that one locked door. Going to our new area will lead to a bunch more items and one key item, the battery, which we can use for the elevator now. Turning off the water, and now we have our next main area before the last. I would say this area is pretty straightforward, but the environment is very ugly to look at. It doesn't help that the backgrounds all kind of blend together, making it confusing to navigate. We got more cutscenes alluding to the STARS members playing Among Us.
The stars are doomed. Someone is a traitor.
And the very last medal for the secret lab entrance. Now that we reached this part, I can talk about it because luckily I was thinking ahead and got the other medallion earlier. If you're not though, that's a lot of backtracking to get back to this point. This game does not care if you missed a key item. You will have to go all the way back and grab it, or back to the save room if you put it in the box thinking you didn't need it at all. If you know what you have to do, or how much room you should have, it's not too bad, but still, a reminder. With both medallions in hand, we can now activate the secret entrance to the labs. It's still kind of cool to be honest. This area isn't too big, and when you first get here, most of the doors are locked, giving you a pretty straightforward path. The whole goal of this area is to set the power up. We even get a little tease of future characters. Dear Ada. Once we find the lab key, we can move on to the power room, turn the power back on, and turn the switch back onto the elevator, where we'll be reunited with Barry. Then this cutscene. And lo and behold, Wesker is the traitor.
Just as I thought.
Because you'll be free from this world very soon, Jill.
But not before Barry comes back and helps us out. And then he has the most smartest idea
Barry!
known to man.
Sorry, Jill. Do you think we could see Tyrant now?
Barry, what the fuck, dude? It's time to fight Tyrant. He only takes a few magnum shots here. Once we put him down, get Barry up, and we're out of here. If you've also been collecting the MO disc, here you can save Chris. If you want to. With most of the star members here, and the place about to blow up, we head to the exit, but not before Chris wants to be a nice guy.
Give me a chance to play nice guy.
So, we travel by ourselves again, heading to the helicopter pad alone, shooting off a flare. There you have it. As far as the first entry...
Surprise, motherfucker.
Now, do you remember earlier how I mentioned that the tank controls weren't so bad? This fight here is where I feel the game truly shows its age. This is a terrible fight. Tyrant is so fast that I could barely dodge and then get a shot off on him. Not only that, this man combos me so hard. Okay, can I get up? It doesn't help that I kind of neglected to say I spent this entire game killing as many enemies as I could. Look, I had to get revenge for younger me, okay? But my real handicap came in the form of healing items. By this point in the game, I had 2 first aids left, and I used one in the prior fight. And that leads me to my second biggest complaint of this game, and all games of this era. Unskippable
job,
cutscenes. This whole
I think
Wesker
you should
Betrayal
stay away
cutscene,
from
you can't skip that. So, if you die at the tyrant fight in the lab, well, you gotta watch this all over again.
So cruel.
Let's say if you make it past that, and then you save before saving Chris, but died to the rooftop fight. Well, you gotta run over there, save Chris, and watch that cutscene again.
Oh, Jill!
Go up the elevator, watch that part, then jump to the roof, then you can try Tyrant again. Luckily, we live in 2023, so I just make a save state before the fight. Even with that save state though, this fight here took me 40 minutes to finally beat him. Even then, it was the clutchest fight I've ever had at 4 o'clock in the morning. With me sitting in danger as I picked up the rocket, missed the shot, get hit once, and then finally shoot him. That was actually so funny than I thought it was, because I was on danger. And the game's finally over. On my first run, I got the best ending, or good ending if you would. Which begs the question, is Resident Evil a classic or a dud? I think the answer lies somewhere in between. Some aspects truly are timeless. The camera angles, the music, the door animations, save rooms, but on the other hand, some gameplay doesn't hold up. The plot is kind of lost here and there. Backtracking because you missed a single item can feel really harsh, though I think that's what people want from survival horror. I think this game serves as a very strong foundation for the series, and it makes sense because, you know, we still have it in 2023, and the RE4 remake looks like incredible, but just trying to keep it back into that old eye, I'm excited to see what tweaks they add to RE2. If you've made it this far and enjoyed this little Resident Evil breakdown, hit me with a like, and if you want to see next week's video, make sure to subscribe. And as always, take it easy.